This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This recording is by Mark Smith of Simpsonville, South Carolina. Uncle Remus by Joel Chandler Harris. Chapter 32. Jacky My Lantern. Upon his next visit to Uncle Remus, the little boy was exceedingly anxious to know more about witches, but the old man prudently refrained from exciting the youngster's imagination any further in that direction. Uncle Remus had a board across his lap, and, armed with a mallet and a shoe knife, was engaged in making shoe pegs. "W'iles I was crossin' de branch just now," he said, endeavoring to change the subject, "I come up wid a Jacky my lantern, and she was burnin' wuss'n a bunch of lightnin' bugs, mon. I know she was a fixin' fer to lead me into that quagmire down in de swamp, and I steered clear on her. Yasser, I did dat. You ain't never seed no Jacky my lanterns, is you, honey?" The little boy never had, but he had heard of them, and he wanted to know what they were, and thereupon Uncle Remus proceeded to tell him. "One time," said the old darky, transferring his spectacles from his nose to the top of his head and leaning his elbows upon his pegboard, "there was a blacksmith man, and this yer blacksmith man he took and stuck closer by his dram den he did by his bellows. Monday mornin' he'd git on a spree, and all dat week he'd be on a spree, and the next Monday mornin' he'd take a fresh start. By, one day, after de blacksmith been spreein' roun' and cussin' mightily, he hear a sort of rustlin' fuss at the door, and in walked de bad man." "Who, Uncle Remus?" the little boy asked. "De bad man, honey. De old boy hisse'f, right fresh from de religion w'at you year Miss Sally readin' 'bout. He done hide his horns, and his tail, and his hoof, and he come dress up like white folks. He tuck off his hat and he bow, and den he tell de blacksmith who he is, and dat he done come atter him. Den de blacksmith he 'gun to cry and beg, and he beg so hard, and he cry so hard, dat de bad man say make a trade wid him. At de end of 1 year, de spirit of de blacksmith was to be his'n, and endurin' of dat time de blacksmith must put in his hottest licks in de int'rest of de bad man, and den he put a spell on de cheer de blacksmith was settin' in, and on his sludge-hammer. De man what sot in de cheer couldn't git up less'n de blacksmith let him, and de man what pick up de sludge 'd hatter keep on knockin' wid it twel de blacksmith say quit, and den he give him money plenty, and off he put. De blacksmith he sail in fer to have his fun, and he have so much dat he clean forgot 'bout his contrack. But by one day he look down de road, and dar he see de bad man comin', and den he knowed de year was out. When de bad man got in de door, de blacksmith was poundin' way at a horseshoe, but he wa'n't so busy dat he didn't ax him in. De bad man sorter do like he ain't got no time fer to tarry, but de blacksmith say he got some little jobs dat he needs to finish up, and den he ax de bad man fer to set down a minute, and de bad man he tuck and sot down, and he sot in dat cheer what he done conjured on. Course there he was. Den de blacksmith he 'gun to poke fun at de bad man, and he ax him don't he want a dram, and won't he hitch his cheer up a little nigher de fire. And de bad man he beg and he beg, but 'twa'n't doin' no good, 'cause de blacksmith 'lowed dat he gwineter keep him in dar twel he promised dat he'd let him off 1 year more. And sho' nuff, de bad man promised dat if de blacksmith let him up, he'd give him another showin'. So den de blacksmith give de word, and de bad man saunter off down de big road, setting traps and layin' his proggins for to catch more sinners. The next year hit passed same like t'other one, at the appointed time, here come the old boy after the blacksmith. But still the blacksmith had some jobs and he needs to finish up, and he asked the bad man for to take hold of the sludge and he help him out. And the bad man, he 'lowed it rar'n be disperlite, he don't care if he do hit her a biff or two. And wid dat he grab up the sludge, and dar he was agin, 'cause he done conjured the sludge so dat whomsoever tuck her up can't put her down lest the blacksmith say the word. They palavered there, they did, till by the bad man he up and let him off another year. Well den, that year passed same as the other one. Month in, month out, that man was rollin' in dram, and by here come the bad man. The blacksmith cry, and he holler, and he rip round and tear his hair, but hit just like he didn't, 'cause the bad man grab him up and cram him in a bag and tote him off. Whiles they was goin' along, they come up with a passel of folks what havin' one of these here 4th of July barbecues, and the old boy, he 'lowed that maybe he can git some more game, and what do he do but join in with him. He lines in, and he talks politics same like the other folks. Till by dinner time come round, and they ax him up, which agreed with his stomach, and he posited his bag underneath the table longside the other bags what the hungry folks had brung. No sooner did the blacksmith get back on the ground than he begun to work his way out of the bag. He crope out, he did, and then he tuck and changed the bag. He took and tuck another bag and lay it down where this yer bag was, and then he crope out of the crowd and lay low in the underbrush. Las', when the time come fer to go, the old boy up with his bag and slung her on his shoulder, and off he put fer the bad place. When he got dar, he took and dropped the bag off'n his back and called up the imps, and they just come squallin' and a-caperin', which I expect they must been hungry. Leastways, they just swarmed around, hollerin' out, "Daddy, what you brung? Daddy, what you brung?" So then they open up the bag, and lo and behold, out jump a big bulldog, and the way he shook them little imps was a caution, and he kept on gnawin' 'em twell the old boy opened the gate and turned him out. And what became of the blacksmith? The little boy asked as Uncle Remus paused to snuff the candle with his fingers. "I'm driving him round, honey. After a long time, the blacksmith he took and die, and when he go to the good place, the man at the gate don't know who he is, and he can't get squeezed in. Then he go down to the bad place and knock. The old boy he look out, he did, and he knowed the blacksmith the minute he laid eyes on him. But he shake his head and say, says he, 'You had to 'scuse me, Brer Blacksmith, 'cause I done had experience longer than you. You'll have to go somewheres else if you want to raise any racket,' says he, and with that he shut the door. And they do say," continued Uncle Remus with unction, "dat since that day the blacksmith been sorter hoverin' round twixt the heavens and the earth, and dark nights he shine out so folks call him Jacky my lantern. That's what they tells me. It may be wrong and may be right, but that's what I hears." End of tale.